Hello, everybody. It's Joe Wright here, and once again, I'm going to talk to you about your right hand and blocking, palm or pick, and all that good stuff. But the first thing I want to talk about is the three ways that we can move to pick the strings. Once again, just the fingers. That's how you should first learn to play. It's just by taking any finger. Let's take the thumb, take the first finger, second finger, and just learn to pick the strings with it. Simple as that. And then another way to learn is to add the wrist. So as you sort of a pick it up, set it down, like a repeat move. Now here it is with just the fingers. All I'm doing is clearing. Now I'll add the wrist where I'm over exaggerating, coming up and coming back down. So I sort of lock this wrist down and move off of that, alright? Then the third way is to add the forearm, where you're doing more of a, everything's moving. And then when you get good, you can use just the fingers in the wrist, just the fingers in the forearm, or just the forearm. A lot of guys will take their fingers, and their actual picking motion is more a stiffening of the fingers and then pulling it up. But if you can learn one thing, is that your tone is in your fingers. So the best good stroke on all of them across the string. So to help develop that, let me show you some drills that you can do. Here's one for traditional thumb and two, what you'll need to work on. Let me take my extra pick off. I'll set it down here. Now, I'm in a traditional arms in, traditional position, thumb 2 on 10 and 9. And all I'm going to do is alternate thumb 2. And you can see my hand just barely touching here. All right, I got a little bounce going. You can see it all moving. Now it's just the thumb 2, traditional, just the fingers. Now with fingers and wrists. And I'm literally setting it down on this pad back here and touching. So you can see I'm touching back here on the pad. Now, thumb 2. Now start on 10 and 9 still. Just do that backwards. And another thing I want to point out, if you're just starting, or this is a new thing to you, first you gotta diagnose how are you doing it. So you gotta diagnose your thumb. Are you using just your thumb? Are you combining your wrist? Is it a down? Are you striking the strings? Striking and picking at the same time with your fingers? Because there's so many ways to do it. So if I strike, so like I'm coming up and going down on them each time. And when it's the same ones, I don't even have to block. Because I'm picking them again before they have time to ring. So those were all just drills. And what was I doing? I was just taking your triad grips, and I'm making music up by doing right hand patterns. So I'll go every one. Then I did like 4 16th notes, we'll call them. Now when I'm doing the same ones, I really don't have to block. When I block is when I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I move. I sit down. I come down, because if you're going to traditional block, the best way to do it, even if you're using 2 fingers, you got all 3, and you turn, because I understand when people are using the 2, why they go to this, or traditional hand, why they go to the 2 thumb and 2, because it's just a natural, and it's simpler, it's easier, one thing to work on. Because then you cross over, you learn to go, I'm just 10, 9, and 9, 8, 7, 8, 7, 7, 6, 6, 5, etc. Now why I have you go across, that's for repetition. Do it over and over. Alright, as I play all 3, And then I'll practice my grips. And then I make up different patterns. So, for instance, 2 of each. So I'm playing 2 repeated picks over these 4 grips. Now I'm going to change the beat. Alright, one more. So I went from triplets, 16ths, half notes, dotted eighths, now what was that? That was 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 8. So you got to learn to do that, because you get in the habit of being able to do this. Now see, and that my hand is just barely touching. Look. Now I'll add an A-B pedal. What's that? So when I go this one, pedal off, I come back down, I set everything down. But as my picks, you want this to touch at the same time as you put your picks back. Now if you're one of those that's up here and everything's coming down, if you can do this, get it, your body close to the game and keep it there. And then once again, you have to analyze what you're doing with this. All 3 are doing. Now, you got to analyze your thumb, your first finger, and your middle finger, okay? So you analyze it. What am I doing there? And then you analyze it according to your wrist. Now, am I using the wrist for everything? Is my whole hand moving? Can I control each finger? In other words, can I set my fingers like this, set these fingers on top of them, and just lift up your thumb? Can you lift up your don't move anything else. Lift up. Can you do that? Well, if you can, then you can pick block. Can you lift up these 2? Lift up these 2. Lift up these 2. But that's a good drill. And now here I'm going to put my hand in a palm blocking position. Same thing. Can you move your thumb? First finger, second finger. These 2. Can you move them? We're going to move this way though as a picking motion. But I just start off. That's what I did for pick blocking. Is I sit on a table or something, put my hand on it, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Just learn to do that. And then when I applied it to the steel, and I could rotate. In other words, you can learn my moves from any position. I can rotate. Now when you're pick blocking those grips, what's happening is the picks taking everything out. Now see there, that's the only problem, child, is that 10 string. Watch. So sometimes you just get your hand down here, especially when you're open because you have nothing else. But if I got the bar there, once again, I've showed you this, that thumb right there, that thumb, right there, comes up, takes it out. It's another thing about your bar, always straight. Never come up like this or back like this. You shouldn't see this. It should be alright, straight. We've looked at a myriad of ways to hold your hand to play this steel guitar, and you just got to realize the different joints you have. Alright, why do they keep your arm in on this traditional? Well, that's to get that forearm that locks this arm so you can do this. You can also over here do more of a wrist. But I want you to now to start analyzing and working on each aspect of it. Working on if you can play these across 3 different ways, just fingers. Now with the wrist. But still, when I go in there like this, and I got it in the palm, I'm still pick blocking for the most part. But I can keep this right there and hit it at the same time, and it's ultra quiet. So you got to analyze your fingers. Remember how I showed you to break it down like a little backhoe? So if you're over here, you got to check and see, what are your fingers doing? Can they move? Are you free? Are you limber? Okay. And then we add the wrist. So I practice things both ways, straight and with the wrist. And I would do a bunch of hits like that. If I'm going to use my wrist or the forearm, whatever it was, just stamina drills. I can make these up all day. Now I'm going to go upright and do it like I. Showed you a few, but look, those drills, that conditioning over and over, along with learning all the other stuff, it's like scales and different things that you can utilize, different rhythmic figures that you can play to change things up. Dun ta ta dun dun ta 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 dun, or ta 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 dun ta ta ta. I just did it backwards. Put the 16th first, or the dot 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 first. So there's all kinds of ways to change things up. Now, if you're trying just to learn to play just like copy the records, listen for the A pedal. Doesn't matter how you hold your hand. I'll just tell you this. Mathematically, this, with my 4 picks, is way more possibilities, way more, than it is with thumb and 2. Just thumb and 2, you have each 2 moves individual and 1 group of 2. And then you have alternate thumb, 2, or 2, thumb. That's your moves. Now you can add the slides to all those. So in other words, it'd be thumb by itself slide, 2 by itself slide, and in the 2 together slide. Now I'm going to take the thumb to alternate and add a slide to the thumb. Now I'll take the thumb to alternate, add a slide to the second finger. Now I'll take the 2 thumb alternate with a slide on the thumb. Then the 2 thumb with a slide on the thumb. See what I did? So it's and I just did that, you see, at the 5th fret to the 6th fret. Now that slide, remember, can be a pedal. It can be 1 fret backwards, this way, it don't matter. So what you got to do is think about it. Train your body. That's what plays the steel. This is Joe. See you later.